I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it, I'm just keeping it real. Give them something, they give them something, they give them something, they feel. If they're tired of being stressed out and been depressed about it, you feel. We gon' let you know.
Oh, it's official. Like a referee with a whistle. 2026. We back with another episode. It's official like a referee with a whistle. So, I've traveled the world over the past 30 years. And what I realized is that it ain't a lot out there, man. Yeah, you can have fun. Yeah, you can go to different places and sightsee but I said in previous videos, I was never impressed with very much of anything that I saw while I was traveling. The only place I went that I was impressed was Saudi Arabia and Dubai. And Mexico, certain parts of Mexico, really run down. But the tourist area in Mexico was nice. But outside of that, I've been to Europe. Europe is a lot of parts of Europe. Most of Europe is kind of run down. London is nice. Certain Eastern Europe is kind of run down. A lot of these places are it's worse than the hood. A lot of these areas, man. They got the tourist spots, of course, but overall, I've never really been impressed with much out there. It ain't much out there. Don't believe the hype. Now, can you meet some cool people and y'all get along? Sure. But would I want to live anywhere else? I don't know. I don't, you know, I always said Thailand is probably the only place that I would, you know. Outside of that, it's any place else I would move is just like I would have to deal with the same shit that I deal with here in America. If I move to Australia, I'm dealing with the same shit that I'm dealing with here in America. If I move to Europe, I'm dealing with the same shit I'm dealing with here in America. So why would I move to another place and have to deal with the same shit? That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? And I realized that quote African American culture. And the reason why I put that in quotes because where I'm from, we don't call ourselves African American. We call ourselves Black Americans. So that's why I said quote. And I also realized that we're different from these other groups of people. We're the only real culture in the world besides the military. And let me tell you why I say this. Because, see, these other groups, when they leave their little enclave or their little country, wherever they come from, they don't adapt well at all. They don't adapt well at all. You know, and where they from, the only people that understands them is where they from. When they leave and come over to America and move to really any place, they have to get around the people. They have to look or try to find the people that speak the same language and look like them and eat the same food. Otherwise, they can't adapt. They crumble under pressure. They can't do it, right? When us quote African American, when we go to countries like Vietnam, Japan, all Korea, uh, Australia, uh, Kenya, uh, where else? The islands, Caribbean islands, wherever we go, we take all of our culture, food, how we dress, how we walk, how we talk, how we smell, how we communicate with each other. We take all of that with us. And when we move to another country, we get it popping. We start a whole new family in these other countries. And we don't really, and we adapt. The same food we cook back at home, where I'm from, we cook that in Korea. We cook that in Japan. We cook that in Vietnam. Now, you might be asking, well, how do you cook the same food? You find alternatives in that country and you cook the same food, right? These other people can't do that. They got to import the food that they want, import the vegetable that they want, because they can't do it. That's how you know they have customs. It's not culture. They have things that they've been doing for the past couple hundred years or thousands of years. And along the way, they've just been stealing from other groups of people. That's how you know it's not real. It's not from the soil. That's the difference between us and everybody else. And we have a whole different vibe, you know what I'm saying, than these other groups of people. And then because I can go to Japan right now and somebody is dressing like me. And we call that hip hop culture. Somebody that dresses like me specifically, that's hip hop culture, right? That expands globally, worldwide. Now, if I go to Japan and try to look for somebody that's looking like a Colombian, I'm not gonna find it. It don't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody's trying to look like somebody that's from Canada, and you know that's just what it is. Nobody's trying to look like somebody that's from China and Japan. That's not gonna happen. But when I go to China, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, I see people that look similar to me, and I also see people that don't look similar to me trying to dress like me. That says a lot about us. I can see somebody that looks similar to me that's trying to dress like me, and I don't know them from a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? There's no other group of people on the planet with that type of influence. I haven't found them besides us. So that's what I learned when I travel the world. We're different. We have a whole different vibe. This is why we can come online and get these apps and websites popping for these corporate companies. And nobody had to put no money behind us. We didn't have to run no scam. We just naturally get shit popping because our vibe, you know. Now, a lot of times, a lot of us get sabotaged. If we don't get sabotaged, if people leave us alone, we get shit popping in any environment worldwide. That's a fact. That's what I've learned while I was traveling. And I started traveling from the age of 19 worldwide, all the way until now. So that's over half of my life. So you can kind of imagine, you can kind of figure out how old I am. I've been traveling since I was 19, and that was 25 years ago. So you can kind of figure out how old I am. That was over 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different vibe. This is why people like being close to us. They like being next to us. They like to always know what's going on with us. And when we try to get away from people, they get upset. They're like, hey, y'all trying to leave us. Don't forget about us. Because, a lot of people be trying to exploit us. They try to take advantage of our kindness. That's happened a lot to us over the years. People try to people try to cosplay and act like us. And it might be from some place like Nigeria or some shit like that. But they try to act, they try to talk like us, dress like us, talk like us. But they can't do it. Because we ain't the same. We don't look the same. We don't have the same phenotype as somebody that's from Nigeria, Kenya, or might be similar, but we have a whole different vibe than most of these people. Yeah, the girl might have a big ass, nice tits, but she still ain't a black American woman. You know what I'm saying? We have a different way of communicating. Not only do we speak English, we have nonverbals. We have nonverbal communication that we do amongst each other. And we're the only people that can do that. If you try to do that with these other groups, women, for example, they won't be able to pick up on it. They don't pick up on things very well. They don't pick up on the nonverbals very well at all. They don't, like I said, they don't adapt well at all. We can go to we can cook the same food where I'm from in Japan. We just find alternatives and we adapt. We can conduct the same business in another country. We just adapt. We can make money in other countries. We just adapt. These other people, when they leave one country to go to another country, you know what they do? They take their people with them. And they do business amongst each other. Right? We can do both. We can do business amongst each other, and we can also do business with other people in that country. These other groups of people can't do that. They don't do that very well. Every once in a while, you might have a straggler, might be out there. Some salesman be out there by himself, away from his flock. But for the most part, these people stay amongst themselves because they don't adapt very well. Just like I said. And you don't necessarily got to speak the same language as them. They just don't adapt very well. And they don't listen very well. They don't have the same swag, charm, charisma. They don't build rapport very well. You got guys and gals that come online on people's Cash App, on TikTok, people, they'll come on your timeline and want to talk to people, right? As soon as they come online, they'd be like, "Oh, Cash App, donate me some money." They ain't trying to get to know you. It is up off top. They just asking you for some money, begging, right? We don't do that because we understand that if you want someone to donate money to you, you have to build rapport with the person. You have to get to know the person. We understand that. These other groups of people, they don't understand that at all. They have bad social skills. You know, they don't have the charm and the charisma. This is why a lot of women from these other groups, they don't really understand how to engage with a man, like for real. When they engage with a man, they basically trying to trick them, manipulate them, or scam them. They don't really know how to engage with a man, how to talk to him in a way that's genuine and real, and she'll come across to the guy like, hey, okay, she likes me, she's feeling me. They don't really know how to do that. They don't do that very well. When the average woman, when they come across talking to a guy, I don't care what language is in, they come across like they trying to manipulate the guy. She's trying to use her sexuality to get over on the guy. You know, it's not genuine at all. You know, and the guys know it. We know when a woman is being genuine or being real with us, or she really like us. You know, deep down we know it. Now a lot of guys might play around and act dumb, like I don't know if she like me or not. You know if she like you, because if she like you, you would know. You don't got to be a genius to figure this out. But these other groups of women, they don't really have what we call a mouthpiece. They be talking a lot of shit, but it ain't believable in most cases. They're using their sexuality. They're showing cleavage and showing the leg and showing the cooch and showing their breasts. The black women where I'm from, they don't got to do all that. They classy. These other women, they're kind of taught that use what you got, use your sexuality, use, whatever you got to get what you want. Where I'm from, the women aren't taught that. Where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? They're taught that get to know the guy, build rapport, see how you can become a value in his life, and maybe y'all can build something together and hopefully have a future together, right? These other groups of women, they're taught something completely different. They're taught basically to trap a guy, basically manipulate him, kind of have him in the cloud like he don't know what's going on, and get him pussy whipped, and she got all the control at some point, and she can pull him around like on a leash. That's how these other groups of women are taught. The engage with a guy. Yeah, so it's a completely different ball game, like outside of where I'm from. It's a different world out there, man. And it's gotten so bad. A lot of men and women, they know who we are, right? Even though some of us might be a little confused about what that really entails. They know who we are. So they'll come in and cosplay. And they'll be like, well, they'll act like they're a black woman. And a lot of us get confused. Because we don't even know who a black woman is at times. We think Little Kim is a black woman. We think Nicki Minaj is a black woman. We think Candace Owens is a black woman. We get confused. We'd be like, hey, you look black, talk black. She's black enough. That type of shit. And all three of them women are from the Caribbean islands. Their families from the Caribbean islands. But see, we'll see a woman on TV with a ring on her nose and a bald head or some shit like that, and some nice tits. And she looked black to me. Bro, we ain't got no ring. No black woman got no ring in their nose. That's a Caribbean thing, bro. Or she maybe from Nigeria or some shit like that. We're confused a lot of time. A lot of us are confused. We don't know what a black woman is. We just kind of assume that everybody is from here when we see them on TV, or if they look like they're black to me, or they're black enough. It's that type of shit, you know. But no, and then and the media will try to make up some type of shit or whatever, and they'll use these people to kind of put a wedge amongst us and make it seem like there's some gender war or some shit like that. No, ain't no gender war where I'm from, at least not in my world. There might be a gender war in the media, yeah, on TV or something like that. But where I'm from, on my day-to-day encounters with black women, ain't no gender war. Shit, if it wasn't for black women, I don't know where the fuck I'd be at. I'm just being honest. I never really had any woman from any other group did me any favors. So if it wasn't for a black woman, I'd probably be in prison. I'm just being honest. I didn't have these other groups of women haven't done anything for me and haven't done me no favors. None whatsoever. I'm not even around these other groups of women like that. Not today. But in my 20s, I was around a bunch of these women. They ain't ever done me no favors. No. Most of the time, them relationships were transactional. They wanted what they wanted, and I didn't want to give, so I got the hell on. You know what I'm saying? Now, you're always going to have a couple stragglers that generally like you, maybe one or two, you know, but for the most part, the relationship with these other groups were transactional. You know, they were trying to get something out of me, or trying to control me, and I wasn't down with that, so they got the hell on. You know? Now, with black women, if a black woman don't like you, you're going to know. And money ain't going to have much to do with it. Money comes in when she doesn't like you. If she doesn't like you, you're going to have to have all the extra stuff. You're going to have to go above and beyond the Call of Duty and all that shit. If a black woman likes you, you ain't going to have to do all that shit. You know, if you have money, great. That's a plus. Because she look at it like, okay, I like him. He got money. He got a career. He got shit going on. And he gave me, you know, that's like icing on the cake. But money by itself, that only go but so far. You know, and we're the cash machine of this country. Everybody makes money off of us. Everybody makes money off of us. I'm not going to go into all the details and all that. That's a video for the next day. But this is why people, they like to get next to us. They like to get close to us. They like to see what we doing, what's going on. They're online watching us on X, YouTube. They like, you got agencies out here always looking, see what the African Americans are doing, where the latest trends are going. These other people ain't setting no trends. They're not setting no trends. We set the trends, online and offline. And pick any niche, any business, any genre, from music to fashion to business. We set the trends. Yeah, these other groups of people, they don't set no trends. They set trends of scamming. That's where they set trends, and scamming and ripping people off. But we don't have to rip people off to do good business and do great things. We're great with very little training and coaching. And plus we get attacked and we get sabotaged, and we have to start all over again multiple times. So imagine if we didn't get sabotaged, we didn't get attacked. Imagine where we would be as a people. These other groups of people, they don't get sabotaged. If they do get sabotaged, it's not by some outsider. It's usually somebody that's inside. We get sabotaged by outsiders and insiders. We get sabotaged by informants, you know, yeah, all the time. You know, that's how you know you're great. My dad used to tell me people hate up, not down. And he also said if people ain't talking about you, you ain't doing enough. And I never forgot that. These other groups of people, they ain't really got it like that. They ain't really living like that. Yeah, they might talk that talk. Yeah, they might have more access to resources than we do, access to money. But a lot of times their shit is manufactured. It's corporate. Our shit is natural, organic. Boots on the ground. These other groups of people, if they don't got the money, they're not starting nothing. They start at the top. The money's on the top. They're not starting on no ground. So if the money's at the top, they don't have to have no training. They don't have to have no strategy. They don't have to have no good marketing. They can just make up stuff and manufacture stuff, right? And these other groups of people, these billionaires, they get rich off the government. They get government contracts. And we stand, and the rest of us stand on the side and act like they're so great. Like Elon Musk. Like they're so great. Bill Gates, like they're so great. Shit, you give me a $500 million and a $500 million credit, I'll be great too, God damn it. And they make all type of mistakes, doing all kind of crazy shit. And we sit back and be, oh, they're so great. Look at him. He's awesome. Bro, if you have $500 million to start up and $500 million credit, you can afford to make all them goddamn mistakes. You can't fuck up if you have $500 million in cash and $500 million credit. You can't fuck up. Jeff Bezos, same thing. These guys get rich off with the government money, government contracts. That's how this shit works. But they promote them and make it seem like they're great and they're doing it all by themselves. They self-made millionaire. But they never tell you how they did it. See, I'm one of those people that I work behind the scenes with a lot of these people. I know how they did it. I've seen it with my own eyes. So they'll hire these big marketing firms on Wall Street and they'll promote them online and offline and make it seem like they self-made millionaire. They started off from ground up. No, they came in with the money. They already had investors. They already had the government money. That's how they got started. They didn't start from scratch. If they have to start from scratch, they ain't doing nothing. If they have to start from the ground up, these people ain't doing nothing. They're not starting from no scratch. They're going to start with a contract. Day one. A contract equals money. So imagine if we had all access to all the capital, what would happen? How great could you be? How great would I be? How greater, I should say, would you be and I will be? That's how it works in real life. Everything else you see on TV is made up, man. They just lying for every goddamn thing. It's just a game, man. That's all it is. That's why I was never impressed with none of this shit. In these other countries, a lot of these people have been doing the same shit for hundreds of years. Like China's been the same forever. Only thing changed is the big buildings and how they dress. Japan, same thing. Japan been doing the same thing for 400 years. They just dress different. That's it. They're doing the same shit, same old quote culture. They have customs. They do the same old shit. But if you take that same person from Japan and send them over here to America, they will struggle badly. And they'll end up going back eventually. Or they'll get sick and end up dying. Because they don't adapt. They don't adapt. You know, the Chinese is trying to adapt now. They're trying to evolve now because, you know, they go into other countries. But even the Chinese, when they leave China and go to Nigeria or Kenya, they got to bring their people with them. Because they can't operate outside their quote, quote, culture. They can't. They got to import the food. They got to import everything. They don't have no alternatives. They can't figure it out. They can't adapt. That ain't no culture. The only culture, like I said, is us and the military. The military can go anywhere. They can adapt, thrive, and survive. Just like us. That's why we're so great. That's why people want to be next to us. That's why people hate on us. That's why people try to sabotage us. Because we're great. And I'm not hating on these other people or putting them down. I'm just telling you how it is. That's why I'm not impressed with anything that these other groups of people do. I'm not impressed with any of the women. Yeah, they might have a big ass, nice tits. But, okay. Yeah, she's sexy, okay. But what else is there about her? There's a lot of women with big ass and tits and have sex appeal. What else about her that's appealing? But hey, you might disagree. If so, tell me what you think below. Like, share this video. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the sky and that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley. Now you look sexy.